And yeah, welcome everybody to App Smashing number 3. Thank you so much for joining us. My name's Donald. I have Leroy in the background, my friend and colleague, to help anyone who is in the chat. So Leroy is going to post the bit.ly link to these slides. So if you want to follow along with the slides, you're more than welcome. And I will try to remember to send out a link to the slides as well with the recording that will go up at the end of this week. So the App Smashing series, there's going to be 7 episodes in total. And the intention is to give everyone the chance to play with multiple online or digital tools and smash them together and make something new. This webinar isn't really the place to go through the very minor basics of any of these tools. We've done webinars like that in the past. If you want to do the basics, I highly recommend you just give it a go yourself. There's lots of tutorials and stuff out there that go into detail about how to get started with any of these tools. I want to try and encourage people to try new ways of using the tools, use them in ways that they might not have used in the past. So that's why we're here. That's what we're doing. Leroy will be available on the chat as we go. I'm going to try and stick to the slides just so I can get through things and I can answer any questions that people have at the end. So we'll begin with Karakia Timatanga. You are very welcome to join in with me if you like. This Karakia came to us from the Kia Takatu Matahiko Digital Readiness Program that we were part of a couple of years ago when the revised technologies curriculum content came out. We were some of the people going around the country trying to help teachers get up to speed with what the new revised digital technology stuff was all about. And yeah, it's just a nice karakia to try and connect with this idea of trying something new, opening ourselves up to new ideas. So here we go. Tēnei te Māori, ka piki ake ki te rangi e tūnei, he rangi atua, he rangi tipua, he rangi tāwhito. Kia whiti ko te mātaranga. Kia tau ko te maramatanga. Whaia kia tata puratia kia mau. Haumie, huie, taikie. Lovely. So who am I, for those who might not have come to any of my webinars in the past before? What am I doing here on the other side of your screen? So my name is Donald James. I'm originally from the southeast of Scotland. And so I came to New Zealand nearly 8 years ago. I love travel. I love exploring new places and getting outside of my comfort zone. So traveling to the other side of the world to see what starting a life for myself in a totally new place. I wanted to see what that was like. And that was 8 years ago, and I'm still here because New Zealand's great, and I've managed to find a job at the National Museum in New Zealand, and I feel like my skills and experience are incredibly valued here, and I get to work with really awesome people and do really cool things. So I'm one of the learning specialists here. We develop and deliver learning programs, and we have an amazing learning lab space with lots of really cool resources and toys and things. So I get to play with those. I get to hang out with really awesome teachers, and I get to do great learning with kids and some families as well. Sometimes we do kind of informal learning stuff with family groups. So yeah, I've been at Te Papa for 5.5 years now. And in that time, we have developed the Hinatori Learning Lab as a space to kind of try out digital technology as a way to have a creative response to things in the museum. And yeah, I just want to share the learnings that I've made so far that we as the learning team have figured out. I want to try and disseminate that out into the world so that more people can play with these things. Great. So today, the challenge that we are playing with today is taking OBS Studio and Pixlr. It doesn't have to be Pixlr. There's lots of tools which do what Pixlr does. Pixlr is just useful because it's free and it's online. OBS is a little bit more specific. There isn't really any other free version which does as much as OBS does. So I highly recommend that you check out OBS if you haven't seen it before. Last week we had an initial look at it. Today we'll look a little bit more about what it can do. And I hope it will inspire you to give it a go and try something new. So OBS Studio, what is it? It is free downloadable and open source. Open source means that there isn't a company that owns the rights to its use. So the code that is involved in the program is available for anyone who wants to have a look at it. So developers from all over the world have got into the code and developed tools and developed the way that it works, so it can work for lots of different people. It also makes it free, so anyone can download it and use it on a computer. It doesn't work on tablets or Chromebooks. You need a proper computer to be able to download it, but it'll work on Macs, it'll work on Windows, any systems like that. So the purpose of it is to enable combining multiple media sources together. The acronym of it stands for Open Broadcaster Software. So the idea is for broadcasting like shows and things. If you imagine the image of a weather reporter or a news report or something like that, these are situations where you might want to combine multiple media sources, including video, including text, including still images, including cameras, including audio, and OBS is designed to compile all of those pieces together into a cohesive thing. So it enables streaming and recording videos. I'm sure that you all know kids who are watching streamers either on YouTube or Twitch or anywhere else like that. And a lot of them, the streamers, if they're using free software, they're using OBS. So helping kids to understand what OBS is and what it does helps them to appreciate the kind of the artifice behind what these streamers are doing. And it might be that they want to try that out for themselves as well. So it just enables them to use a tool appropriately. Yeah, so you can layer different media sources together. You can add cool filters that does different things. It's a really great tool for creating news reports, school broadcasts, for doing storytelling and character acting. If you want to have students doing explanations, it's better than them creating a Zoom call and trying to share a screen and stuff. There's just like more nuance to it and more possibilities with it. So that's what it's for. What is Pixlr? So Pixlr is a free online image editing tool. And so it has very similar functionality to Photoshop, but it's been around for a while and it's gone through a few iterations, and they've actually kind of created two separate Pixlr tools. There's PixlrX, which is the kind of simple, more kind of app-like tool, which works through your internet browser, but also works on tablets and things. And it's very kind of easy to use, or designed to be easy to use, and I highly recommend just pointing people at it and giving it a go. This is the new tool for today, so I'm going to show you some of the functionality of it, and it allows you to work in layers. That's kind of one of the main things, one of the main differences between something like Photoshop or Pixlr compared to like Microsoft Paint or something that you might be otherwise familiar with. It allows you to kind of stack different images together and blend them together and play with transparency. And it allows you to export those images as a .png file type. So for those who don't know, digital images can be saved with lots of different file types, and .png is my personal favorite because it allows you to have some areas of an image completely transparent and see-through, and I'll show you today why that might be useful to you. Yeah, it's lots of fun and great for digital collage work as well. It's something that we play with quite a lot here at Te Papa with our online collections particularly. All right, Karafiua. let's give it a go. Let's smash some apps together. Let's try OBS and Pixlr. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing on this screen, and I am going to start. Oh yeah, I'm going to stop sharing on this screen. I'll share on the other computer, which has OBS going. So let's go. Let's get rid of that, and let's go here. Doodle-doo. And let's share this screen. Excellent. All right. So now you should be able to see me. So in this screen over here, you can see that I've got the green screen behind me. And then in this screen in front of me, I've still got the green screen behind me, but I've made the green screen behind me invisible so that you can see a picture behind me. All right. So that is one of the things that OBS can do. And that is a filter. So what I'm just going to do is what I want to do is draw your attention to these sources that I have down here. And this is where we add our different media things. And we will be able to bring in images and all kinds of things there. So I found this background on our collections online, and that enabled me to bring it into OBS. I'll show you that process, but we'll go through finding an image, editing it in Pixlr, and then bringing it into OBS. So this is where we'll end up, and we'll get to layer some images together so that I can disappear and pop out from behind a tree, like that. All right, so where do we start? So I just want to, all right, so what I need to do is I'm going to use the collections online. So Tupapa has our collections online. And if we go to our collections online, and I'm going to search for portrait, and I'm going to search for portraits with images and some reuse Creative Commons allowances, and I'm going to look for photography. And so you can find images here. This is one of the things I like to play with as well. So once I find an image on the internet, I can right-click on it. Oops. I can right-click on it and I can save the image to my computer. And I've done this already. So I don't need to do it again. That's fine. And oh. Whee! Playing. All right. So I'm going to, it's because Zoom is there, it's made it hard for me to see all of my things. All right, so now I'm going to open up a new tab and I'm going to go to Pixlr. And the best way for me to show you this is probably just to start from the beginning. So I'm going to go to pixlr.com. That is our website. And these are our two options, PixlrX and PixlrE. I'm going to go to PixlrX because it's easier. And I'm going to open an image. And this is the image I have chosen. And what I'm going to do with this one for some fun is I am going to use the cutout option. And I'm going to remove just the face, just for some fun. And when I save it from Pixlr, I now get to choose to save it as a .png. And I'm just going to call this Portrait of a Man 2, because I've done this once before, just to try it out. I'll click download. So this has downloaded it from Pixlr to my computer, and that's where I want it. Because now it's on my computer, it means that I can go to my OBS program. Here we are again. And I can add an image to my OBS sources. And then I can browse for the image. And I don't want the original image. What I want is this image with no face on it. That's great. And then I can drag that image over mine and I can scale it in different ways. And now I can pretend to be this man. And so I could use this as part of an explanation or a character acting thing, depending on who it is. But that is the use of creating transparency in still images. One of the uses. And so by using these two programs together, OBS is a production tool. You need to create the resources that you use somewhere. You don't do that creative work in OBS. So you need to have access to something like Pixlr or PixlrX in order to be able to create these materials. So that's one way. The other thing that you might want to do is to create an interesting scene. And so this image that we have here, I might just turn off my video just so you can see the picture I've got behind me. So this image behind me is a lovely foresty scene. And I quite like the idea of on this flat ground here, that this is kind of a walkway or a roadway or something. But, you know, I could be anywhere. But what I want to do is I want to appear in the foreground. I want to appear on this path, but I want to be able to hide behind that tree. So I need to split this image up. I need there to be multiple parts to this image. I need this stuff on the right-hand side to be on the background, and then this tree to be in the foreground. And we actually have a really amazing Lisa Rehana artwork at the moment called In Pursuit of Venus Infected. And this is something that this is kind of a process that she has done for that piece of work as well, where she has taken, she's taken artworks and she has manipulated them and layered things together in the video so that she can have action happening in front of and behind different parts of the artwork. So if this is my scene, for me to appear between these pieces, what I need to do is I'm going to open up the artwork again. So add image. And I'm going to find my landscape. There it is. All right. So what I need to do is create a new image. I'm just going to go back to the beginning, just for simplicity's sake. So open image here. That's my image. Here it is. So I want to remove this stuff on the right-hand side so that I can appear from behind this tree. And so I'm going to go back to the cutout option here. There's tons of things to play with, liquify, effects, filters, all kinds of things. And this is the simple version. So you can play with far more tools in Pixlr as well. So I'm going to use the remove function of the cutout tool. And I'm going to use this magic cutout tool. And this has become quite common in image manipulation tools like this. And what this is doing, the important thing here is the tolerance. So if I turn the tolerance up quite high, what it will do when I click is it will select all of the related colors that are continuous, which are connected to the one that I click on. So if I click on this, it's going to get rid of loads of stuff. It's way too much. So I can turn down that tolerance. and I can undo that action. And I can click again, see how much it gets rid of this time. Still too much. Great, trial and error. And so I can keep turning down the tolerance until it gets rid of just what I want it to get rid of. That's more like it. So it's going to take a few clicks, but you get the idea. And once I get rid of like the large parts of it that are continuous, then I might use something like the draw cutout tool. And I actually want quite hard edges to my kind of eraser tool, make it a bit bigger. And then on my image here, I can just draw an area that I want it to erase and keep going like this and keep going, etc., etc. So I could continue doing that until I'd erased all of that section. And then just like the other image, I would go to save, make sure that it's a .png and save it as the object I've got. I've already done that process, so I can just show it to you. I would add it as another image, and I have the landscape 2 here. So I'm going to make landscape 1 invisible, so you can see landscape 2. So this is the section of the image that I've made invisible. There's some little artifacts there that I could have got rid of if I was being perfectionist, but I wasn't. And so this is me, and I can appear from behind the tree as some kind of giant of the forest. And if I put the landscape 1 back in it, then because these images are matched up, you see no disconnect between those images. And now when I appear, I can appear out of it. If I wanted to, right now, get rid of my table that's in the way. And then if I'm right here, there we go. I can be more life-size to the tree. So depending on how I would stage it, that would give me more or less of the effect of a kind of digital theater setup. And I've called this episode Digital Theater because it's a similar effect to in an old-fashioned theater where you would have large painted sets and you would have, large painted two-dimensional trees and carriages and buildings and all those kinds of things, and the actors would be able to come in and out of it to and you could scale those pieces to kind of falsify the depth of the space that they are performing in. So that's the idea. Those are some options. And if you want more options about what it is that you can do with OBS, I highly recommend checking out the other webinar that we did last week, where we played with moving image of stop motion animation. And you can also play with text and add all different kinds of things. So I'm going to jump back from this computer back over to this computer, and I'll finish off the slides, and then I'll be open to any questions. So have a think just now if you've got any questions. Other questions before I move away? Yeah? What are they? Do you want to tell me?
How do you get the OBS to be videoing yourself onto the screen?
So you need to add a video capture device for there to be a video of you. And in order to, once you've set up all your layers and you're happy and it looks like the kind of thing you want to do, if you're ready to start performing to it, you can capture what is going on by using the start recording button down here on the right-hand side. Does that answer the question? Great. Do you need a green screen to do this? Aha, good question. So the green screen, the thing about green screen is that green screen is very useful because it's very well contrasted to the color of human skin. And so if I go into the video capture device, I right click on it and I go to filters, then here I have my chroma key filter. I can turn it off and you can see the green screen that's there. If I click on my chroma key filter, you'll see that I can choose from lots of different colors. So I could do blue, and that would make my my t-shirt very invisible. Also, the screen that's behind me is kind of blue, so in the color of green, so it also gets made a little bit invisible. I could also use magenta, and my skin is a little bit too pale, but my lips, you can see my lips are a little bit red, and if I was feeling very flushed, oh, this might work. It's not quite magenta-y enough, but you'll see it kind of does a weird, so that's the color of it in the other screen, and it's kind of going a little bit invisible here in this screen. So it doesn't, it's very useful to use green because that helps you contrast it to human skin tone. There are, if you want to cut out a human being, then a green screen is your friend, but there might be other ways for you to do it. And it's just a piece of green cloth. People have done it by painting green spaces, all those different kinds of things. So I'll jump back over and I'll finish the slides, and then I will answer other questions from there. Great, so I'm gonna share this screen. Wonderful, great. So there we had a play, and the important thing is connecting to the curriculum. So like the thing with digital tools is that they are tools. You need to have an authentic context. You need to have a reason why you're using those tools. And one of the things that will always help is to consider who the audience is, or who the end user of the thing that you are creating is for. Like whether it is students creating for other students, or that's for their community or family or whatever. Like, why are they creating the thing that they are creating, and how does the format of what they're creating, how does that translate into the purpose of what they're creating and the tool set that they're particularly using. It's really good for collaborative work, OBS and Pixlr as well, because you can have multiple people working together to create an idea, tell a story. OBS, there's a lot going on with it. To have performers, to have directors, to have camera operators, to have props people, to have set designers, all of these different roles. It's really good for collaborative work when not everybody's doing exactly the same thing. And I would highly recommend only having one or maybe maximum 2 computers set up that do the OBS part of it, and it being part of a longer process, and they get to the point where they are filming and capturing their idea. If you're looking for a resource to help you use animation and OBS in your classroom, we created this resource last year that dives into kaupapa and science, and we made a really cute kind of baby shark video by using OBS tools, and animation tools and Pixlr tools and all kinds of things. So you can have a look at that, and that might give you some ideas as well. So the next Wero we have is going to be using Pixlr again, and this time with Scratch. So this is homework for you. Please go away and have a think about what you might be able to achieve if you're using these 2 tools together, something that you wouldn't otherwise be able to create, or just ways that you might consider using it. And that will just help get your brain working so that when you come and join the webinar next week, then my explanation will hopefully make sense to you. Great. So this is my intention for you to go away and do some tutu of your own, and we would love to have your feedback about these sessions. Leroy, if he hasn't already, is going to post the feedback link into the chat, and so please send us your feedback. It really helps us understand what is valuable about these webinars for you. If you want us to go faster or slower or cover different content, it's up to you. We're only doing this because we hope that it is valuable to you, so please let us know either way. And if you want the details about when things like this come up more often, then the Te Papa Learning Facebook page is a good place to do that. If you make anything with any of these tools as part of any of these webinars, we would love for you to share it with us. Please feel free to post it on our Learning Facebook page. It's great for us to see what people get up to. And we have more webinars as well coming up. Braudainga Matihiko is one of the projects that we run, and they've got a really great webinar coming up next Thursday on colonization, sustainability. Oh no, Tuesday, sorry, next Tuesday. Colonization, sustainability, identity, how small objects can help open up big conversations. So that's going to be a really exciting webinar, which is going to happen next week. So you can, with a link to these slides, you can click on that link and sign up to that webinar as well. Wonderful. All right. So before we close and do the closing karakia, Leroy, what questions are there that I should answer?
One from Dorothy, she says, so when you were coming up from behind the tree, could you take a still photo of that image using OBS?
The easiest way to take a still image, in my experience with OBS, is to take a screenshot. And so you can do that with the snipping tool in Windows. There's also a really good screenshot tool on Mac as well. And that's how I would probably do that. The OBS is designed for video and for moving image primarily. If you wanted to create an image of me coming out from behind the tree or yourself coming out from behind the tree, you can do that entire thing in Pixlr, just by taking a photo of me posed and putting that beside the photos of the background and trimming things out using the cutout tool. So you can do that whole process. The fun of OBS is being able to make moving image. Great. So I'm just going to have a look and see if there's any others. Do you send out the slides or recording? Yes. Yes, I will. As long as people have signed up, then I will be emailing them out. Once the recording is captured and uploaded, then that is going to be made available to everyone. Thanks so much for your detailed answer, Donald. That's great to hear. Wonderful. Let's just see if there's anything else. I love this idea. I prefer that you do the workshop and then we get to have a go. It makes more sense when you give us a demo before the next workshop. Yeah, no worries. So each time I do this, there's always going to be one tool that will stay the same. So this time, last time I showed you OBS. This time I used OBS again, but I showed you Pixlr. Next time I'm going to keep Pixlr and do Scratch. And then after that, we're going to do Scratch and we're going to do something else with Scratch. And we're going to keep on evolving like that. So there's always going to be something that's repeated and something that's new. So hopefully that will build up your familiarity and give you more connections to more opportunities. Excellent. If there's no other question, is the Tuesday colonization webinar a one-off? I believe it's a one-off. Yes, I believe it's a one-off. But that's a good question. Sweet. Wonderful. Yeah, I really hope that people have a go. It's a really fun tool. There's lots of possibilities. And from our experience at Te Papa anyway, kids just love to get in front of a camera and do silly things. And this is an opportunity for them to try that out and then consider how they might tell a story or make something of that experience. And getting them to work as a project team to create content is just a really valuable set of skills for them. Wonderful. All right, I'm going to do the closing karakia and let you carry on with your Wednesday. So thank you everyone so much for showing up. Here is the karakia. Tēnei te Māori ka heke iho ki te whenua e tākoto nei, he rangi atua, he rangi tipua, he rangi tāwhito. I whiti ko te mātaranga, i tau ko te maramatanga. Tēnei ka hekitia ki a wātea, haumie, huie, tae ki e. Mā te wā. Thanks so much for coming. See you next time.